Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to We Need to Talk, and today we're going to talk about the channel and what's going to be what can you expect from the channel in the future. I got a new webcam and follows me around the room. It's pretty cool. I like it. Not too bad. So there's going to be better video. That's good, right? I have gotten some really interesting emails from some people, some of them even seeming to be almost like top secret emails. And I'm not saying that to be silly. Just one of them was very much like, hey, I have some really important information I need to share with you. This is how we can contact each other. Cannot contact each other through regular Gmails. I won't respond with this kind of information, so on, so on, so forth. We need to make sure it's like, so I don't know what that's about. That sounds exciting. Hopefully somebody doesn't just like send a virus to my computer. So anyway, I want to let you guys know I have 470 subscribers right now. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. It means a lot. Seriously, this is I've told my wife for many years this is something I've always wanted to do, is just like political commentary. Eventually, I plan on making channels if this gets big enough, and if this is something that I could do, that would do historical content and commentary, as well as religious content and commentary. Those are two other things I'm very much interested in outside of local politics or just national politics. I wanted to set the stage a little bit about who I am and what I think. I am a 33-year-old contractor. I own a small contracting company, and a lot of people like to say that, you know, I'm racist because I have an opinion about something that's going on within my community, or within the communities, or within the nation. And I think one of the things we need to really step away from is this idea that you cannot have an opinion about something. And also, I'm going to real quick check and make sure that we are getting sound this time. I did a whole one earlier and there was no sound. Hey, there's a person in here. Could you just type and let me know? Can you hear me? Would you do that? That'd be great. If you could just let me know that you can hear me. I was having issues with the microphone earlier. So I am not from Seymour, but I do live in Indiana. I'm not going to give everybody exactly where I live because I've already made some people some haters. So I'm not going to do that, but it does seem you can hear me. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, the channel. Thank you for being in here, by the way. Good morning. How are you? What you can expect from the future is that I'm going to I'm a few hours away from you guys. I found Seymour due to somebody in one of our local groups talking about what was happening in Seymour, because I had saw what was going on around the country, and I decided to go to and I'm doing very well. Thank you. I decided to go to one of our local meetings and say, hey, we should create an ordinance that just stops this from happening before it even happens. And when I did that, it turned into this big thing. And somebody told me about Seymour, and that's how I got involved, I guess you could say, with what's going on in Seymour, Indiana. And if you live in Seymour, I'm so sorry that that's happening to your community. I do want to just say that, you know, a lot of people, and just say, you know, Miss Hippy Dippy Bundabin, I am going to be talking to the camera a little bit. We can chat for sure, but I'm just going to let everybody know what this channel update is about. I plan on doing some investigative journaling. When I get the time here closer to the winter, I'm going to travel to these places and speak to whoever will speak to me, whether it be city officials, whether it be the higher ups in the neighborhoods, as well as just the everyday blue class workers. And I'm going to bring a translator with me and speak to some of the immigrants that are coming and figure out what's really going on, because we've heard all kinds of stories about at the border there's a big sign and it says come to Seymour. Well, is that true? And what's Matt Nicholson doing about that? Why is he not taking that down? Why is Matt Nicholson okay with everything that's going on in Seymour? He was voted in as a Republican, and then he's acting like a liberal. So it seems that I think that we also as an entire state need to make sure that we change the law, because right now you cannot replace a city official until voting time. And I think if a person gets voted in, even as a Democrat, and then they flip and they act like a Republican, well, you should be able to vote that person out of office. Either way it goes, that's not just a partisan issue. Yeah. So I'm planning on doing that. Um, and just keeping people up to date. A lot of people say I'm racist because I shine a light on the things that are happening. And yeah, maybe 99% of the immigrants, illegal immigrants, are not hurting people physically, but it does harm the community. It harms the culture. And I think white people deserve to have a culture just like every other people. Black people have their culture. White people should have their culture. And I think that you notice if you look globally, everywhere, every Western nation and white nation is being really bombarded and attacked with illegal immigration from the top. And I don't think that's an okay thing. I think what it is, well, I have my theories about what it is, but I do believe that they're trying to stop the ability for white people to feel okay with being white. And I think that's wrong. I think that's racist, and I think that should be stopped. So that's one of the big reasons I'm making this channel. And people are going to call me racist for that, but I have no ill will against somebody's skin color. That's just not who I am. And I believe in legal immigration. So even at that, I feel like that puts a full stop, because if I were some horrible racist, I wouldn't want legal immigration either if the people didn't look the right color. Like if this was a bunch of whites from somewhere that didn't speak our language and didn't have the same culture, and they were immigrating in at high numbers and they were changing the culture of our small towns, I would have an issue with that as well. So this is not some sort of I just dislike people of different skin colors. That's not what this is. This is, hey, this is a real issue going on in America, and it's going on close to home. And I think people need to know about it, talk about it, since the news isn't going to do it. And that's just the truth. There's a lot of big channels that talk about it nationally, but there are not many channels that talk about what's going on in the small town. Being their entire demographic is changing within a year. Like, dude, what? Your entire demographic changes within a year? Now you're the minority? That's absolutely insane. No, the United States can't solve all of the world's problems. You're 100% right. And if you look at the UK, it happened. It happened in Germany. It's not happening in Poland. You know why? Because the Poles are actually allowed to shoot at people that come across our border. So that stops it a little bit. Norway allowed a bunch of people into their country, and then when the people stopped assimilating, and they found that they were not assimilating because after about, I don't know, 10 years, 10 to 20 years, the people were not making as much as everybody else when they had full opportunities to make as much as everybody else. So they weren't paying the same taxes into the system, but they were using them more. And they go, okay, you guys aren't assimilating. Here's what we're going to do. You can stay if you send your children from the age of 2 to our schools, and we're going to educate them in the ways of being assimilated into our culture. They're going to learn our language. They're going to learn how we run things. They're going to learn. So you're not allowed, like over there, you're not allowed to be a Palestinian that lives in Denmark. You have to be a part of their culture. You have to be, I don't know what they call themselves, Denmarkians. That's not it, but you get the gist. And I don't feel like the people that are coming here want to assimilate, and I don't think they are assimilating. And I think that's an issue. If all of these people came over here, they said, hey, we're going to assimilate. We want to be Americans. We want to serve this country. Like, we love America. Dude, that's totally one other thing. But the idea that you can just come to a country and then change that country into the country that you came from, like, well, how's that help us? It should always be a net benefit. There should always be some sort of net benefit to immigration. And if there isn't a benefit to immigration, then we need to stop it. And I can understand having empathy for people that live in situations worse than yours. Welcome. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, man. Welcome, Tara Hoot. How are you? Yeah, Dearborn, Michigan. That's perfect. They don't want to assimilate. And I think at that point, immigration is in vain. The entire point is that like I said, it benefits the country in which is allowing the immigration, and that's not happening. But it is helping large corporations, and that's why it's happening. And I believe that a lot of lobbying went on, and that this is more to do with Hoot rhymes with coat. Hot, Hote, Terre Haute. Okay, sorry. That's like Louisville. I never do that. I always called it Louisville. And people are like, what's Louisville? Like, Louisville, Louis, Ville. No, it's Louisville. I'm like, all right, Louisville it is. So Terre Haute and Louisville. Call it Losersville. It's not the nicest city. We drove through there a couple of weeks ago, and I ended up getting sent a ticket because I guess I went over a bridge that I didn't know was a toll, and they sent me this ticket. And I was like, all right, well, you know what? You guys can send me a payment plan because I'll pay it $1 at a time. That was like $15, but it just made me so mad. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? I don't want to deal with this. Government's always taxing us however they can. You can't even drive over the bridge because that's a publicly or private owned bridge or whatever. Nonsense. So, yeah, in the upcoming future, I'm going to be doing more videos about immigration, the illegal immigration crisis in America, small towns as much as I can get to. I have so many people flooding my emails with like, hey, this is happening in this small town, this small town, this small town, this small town. I'm like, okay. So this winter, I plan on hopping in a car, driving to these places, checking out how bad it really is, and figuring out how it's affecting the lives of the people who have lived there before. Austin, Indiana. All right. If you would do me a favor, email me. My email's in there. Go to my email in my bio and send me a reminder because I'm going to write all of these down and I'm going to figure out what's actually going on in all of these small towns because somebody has to talk about it. I mean, nothing will change if it's not somewhere. And I heard that the videos I was making over about Seymour were actually getting played in their city meetings, and that I had people like getting super mad at me. A lot of liberals, I'd assume, saying like, "You don't need to worry about our town. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that." The truth is, people are mad, and when people are mad, they should have a voice. And they're not mad about something that's not important. If it's affecting your community, one of the gentlemen said that, hey, there's drugs here, there's prostitution going on, there's like cartels and stuff. That's stuff for normal people to be concerned about. And my true belief is that a lot of the violence will probably stay within inside of the communities that come here. As far as like gang violence, I don't think they're gonna. The last thing I think that they want is to give the American people a reason to want to get rid of them even more. So I don't think that a lot of like cartel violence is going to happen to regular American citizens. That's kind of, I mean, I think the cartels have always been kind of smart about that too when it comes to, I mean, these people are smart. That's one thing that everybody has to remember. I think a lot of people think about the cartel or somebody else and they go, oh, they're just a gang member. These people are billionaires. Okay. They became billionaires from doing illegal things. These aren't dumb people. These are very, very, very intelligent people, probably smarter than you or I. They've figured out how to make billions of dollars every year doing things that would put a regular person into prison forever. So I think that they're wise. That's for sure. They know what they're doing. They're not just some guy that's robbing a convenience store with a pistol. It's not who we're dealing with. They come from rural Indiana. Yeah, I live in a more rural area. And we have very little housing as it is. All the houses are filled, so I can't see it really coming to where I live. But and let's just be honest, none of us want this to turn into a violent situation. I don't personally. I don't want this to turn into a violent situation. I wish that our government officials would just take care of this. So that we never have to see violence. I like living in peace. Same here. Our county has a housing crisis. Yeah, so more than likely your county is pretty safe, especially if you don't have any large facilities, factories, etc. They don't understand traffic lights and know when to attempt to cross them. Yeah, that like simple stuff like that. Can we just make sure that the people that are coming here, we vet them and we teach them our simple laws, like just our most basic laws? Like, hey, this is a stoplight. Hey, you're not allowed to do drugs. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. Like, I bet some of them really don't know. Really don't know. Like the drinking and driving thing. I think that I don't know if that's legal in Mexico. I know they do it all the time though. Like, do they even know it's illegal to drink and drive here? And then you get a car wreck with an illegal immigrant who kills a family. Now, would that person have been like, okay, it's illegal, I'm not going to do it? Maybe, because maybe they would be like, I don't want to get deported if I get arrested. You know what I mean? So there's so much going on in this situation. It's so much more complex than just like these people bad. I don't want them here if they're illegal. If they go back and then they bring them back in legally, like if they said, we're taking everybody back to the border, we're going to vet every single one of them. We're going to build these facilities to keep them and house them. And then we're going to release them on an individual basis back to where they were if they check out. Dude, okay, at least we feel safe, right? I don't know if you guys can agree with that. But at least we feel safe. We know that the people have been vetted, right? I live in Meth Head, landed soda with Mexican restaurants. I am so sorry that is what your city is. Yeah, go back to the back of the line. Go back to the back of the line. Come in the right way. Come in the fair way. Why do we have to why allow people to just one of my friends came from Britain. 10 years. It took 10 years for him to become a citizen. And he had family here. 10 years, man. And a whole lot of money on top of that. So, okay, maybe we figure out how to make it cost less. With all the money that we've been using, what if they would have used that money to help process people the proper way? Like instead of just giving people free stuff. Wow, man. See, that's why I could never become a politician, because it just makes too much sense. And it probably stops somebody's pockets from getting funded and padded and so on and so forth. So I got about 5 minutes. Got about 5 minutes and I got to get to work. People. Yeah, it is. It is nonsense. There's so many people that came in the right way. They went through the process, and now that's pretty much just like, well, sorry. It's like the whole forgiving college debt thing. The people that actually paid off their debts, are you going to pay their debts? Or are you going to refund everybody that spent the money to come in here illegally? Like, what the heck? What the heck's going on? They don't care. Yeah, they're all on kickbacks. They all get free stuff, 100%. I was watching all kinds of videos, especially in New York and all these other places. Why do we have a single American citizen that is homeless, but we're taking these people and giving them houses? Make it make sense. They won't make it make sense because it's all political. Now, when Trump gets in, because I do believe he's going to win, I want some free stuff too. If this is how it's going, just give me some free stuff. If this is the way it's going to go, and Trump does get in, I heard that he's going to allow it to be to local jurisdictions. So what you'll see is each local jurisdiction calling ICE on a arrest to arrest basis. And then people will be getting removed and sent back. But there's going to be a lot of cities where that doesn't happen. Man, so sorry about my throat. I don't know what's going on. I wake up this way pretty often in the mornings. No, nothing's free, not for the American citizen. You have to pay extra tax to fund this kind of nonsense. It's absolute nonsense is what it is. I mean, and then you get these out of the wild, crazy videos where somebody is watching a baseball game and gets stabbed in the hand. Like, that is just racism. Like, that man from Honduras just did not like white people, so he was going to stab one. That's all that can be. Or he was high on meth, whatever. The dim shot callers are the ones getting the kickbacks. Look at Braxel, Indiana, and one of the 3 places that ICE can drop off the slime. Brazil, Indiana. My property taxes went from $900 to over $1,500. Yeah, we've been having a property tax issue over here as well. And yeah, why are you raising my taxes if my neighborhood's getting worse? The tax thing over here was insane because they raised my taxes like they were at 15 and they went to 27. And I went up to them and I was like, hey, what's going on? And they gave me the printout and I went to every house. And I started looking at everybody else's taxes and how they were measuring things. And I found so many inconsistencies. First, like, I brought it up to everybody in the neighborhood and people are like, dude, I'm getting charged for a deck I don't have, 2 sheds I don't have, this I don't have, that I don't have. Long story short, I fought back. I pushed back. They dropped it down to, like, instead of 27, I think it's like 21 a year. But I mean, they're just going to keep doing it. You'll be taxed as much as they can tax you until people decide they're done. And I know everybody's kind of scared to do that. They're like, well, then they'll take my house. Okay. Yeah, all I have to say to that is good luck. Um, there's a lot of legal routes you can go for things of that nature. The assessed amount went up. Yeah, the assessed amount went up because of what? Well, if the neighborhood's not getting any better and people aren't wanting to move there, they shouldn't be assessing the houses higher. That's that's nonsense. The way that they do our basements here where I live, the way that they do our basements, the neighbor across from me had a basement that was like 500 square feet, let's say, and they were getting charged like 1,800 or 18,000 a year. That was the assessed value of the basement, not 18,000 a year. The guy next to me has a basement, and his basement was like 580, and his was, or no, 480, and his was like 21,000 a year assessed. And then you go to mine, and it's like 430, and I was getting 21,000 as well. I'm like, dude, none of this makes sense. You guys don't even have like a, a, a correct calculation of how you do this, because if you break it down to square footage price, mine was 24 at one time, and then it was like 32. It's theft. That's all it is. That's all taxes. Yeah, the insurances are through the roof. That's for sure. So I started my disputes with the assessors. And my assessors are very nice. The assessing office was very kind to me. But that's where I started all of my hey, we're done with this. So I started with them, get them to print out your sheet, look over everything, make sure everything's correct. It would be like a property sheet. It's going to tell you everything that they're charging you for. Like they said I had 2 kitchens. I don't have 2 kitchens. My house used to be an apartment, I guess, and so it used to have 2 kitchens, but they didn't take that off when it was renovated. But you have to have an assessor walk through the house, so I know that they know we didn't have 2 kitchens, so they just kept that on there. So we were getting charged for that. We were getting charged for a full basement when we only have a half basement. We were getting charged for this and so there's all kinds of stuff on there you'll probably find that's inconsistent. And you can push back on that. If the assessor's office says, no, we're not doing anything, then you have to take it to court. And then at that time, most of the time, the assessor is going to be like, all right, it's not worth fighting. Yeah, they come up to your, and also in Indiana, they do not charge you per the square footage of your actual living house. So like if your house is 1,000 square feet inside, they measure the outside. And then if you have 2 floors, let's say you even have a Cape Cod, they see 2 floors, so they measure that. Let's say it's 1,300 on the outside. They get 1,300 by 2, so they tax you for 2,600 square feet on a 1,000 square foot home. It's pretty wild. But guys, I have to get to work. I really appreciate everybody stopping in. Thank you guys for hopping in here and chatting with me this morning. That's awesome. I'm going to start doing these a little more often because this is something I can do more often with my time schedule. I'm able to hop on here, just chat, and then hop back off versus sitting down, recording, editing. I will be putting out at least a video every week, but I'll do more of these live streams because this seems like it's going to be something that I'm more capable of doing more often. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a great, blessed day, and I will talk to you guys later. If you can, just simple things. Share my videos. That would mean a lot. Just share them on Facebook or whatever, or with your friends. I would appreciate that. But if you want to tell me anything long form, my email is in the bio. Just send me an email. I check my emails every night or every other night. So cool. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Deuces.